Hello, welcome to the first episode of the Scouse Film Podcast. My name's Sam, I'm the creator/host, and this is a prologue to the first episode. I was going to have the first episode just be about me, but I hated talking about myself so much, so I just thought I'd dive right in with the first episode so people will get a better understanding of what the show is going to be, as opposed to just me talking about the structure of the show. And I wanted to do this podcast to hear other people talk about film and not just hear my annoying voice all the time. Scouse Film Podcast should be self-explanatory. I was going to call it the School Shooter Podcast because someone at work said after I dyed my hair blonde that I can't see Joker in the cinema again. But I didn't want anyone to be disappointed if they were looking for a School Shooter Podcast. So that's that. And the name Scouse Film Podcast is the extent of my creativity. Okay, so might sound a bit echoey because I'm literally just doing this in my living room. I'll probably set up like a makeshift studio space in the future. And I hope you enjoy the first episode. Be sure to follow Scouse Film Podcast on Instagram and subscribe on YouTube where the episodes will be uploaded. Okay, thank you. Hello, welcome to the first episode of the Scouse Film Podcast, the first guested episode of the Scouse Film Podcast. I am joined here by my financier, Melissa.
Hello.
Hello.
Financier.
Fiance. I get them two confused all the time.
Oh, same. All the time.
Alright.
What's up?
First one I'm doing, don't know how to dive in.
I hate that you chose me first, but yeah.
So, we met working at a cinema.
We did.
And what does film mean to you?
Not as much as it means to you, I'll give you that. To me it means switching off my brain and having a good time, but for you it's about feeling something impactful.
Yeah.
But when I do come across a film that makes me feel like that, it's an added bonus.
That's a really great answer.
Well, thank you. What do films mean to you, Sam?
No, I'm the host. You don't ask me these questions.
I care about it.
Don't hijack. Films mean a whole bunch to me. That's why I'm making a podcast about
is that why?
Talking about them. Yeah.
Okay.
It's really for the money.
Oh, I thought so.
And the fame of the 12 views I'm going to get. That are going to be
I think you get
both
15.
my mum and my dad watching them 6 times each. So yeah, did you pick... So we're going to talk about 3 films that mean a whole lot to you.
Yep.
You couldn't really decide
Nope.
yet. You still haven't. So
no.
Off the top of your head, what's the first film that means a whole bunch to you?
First film is Girl Interrupted.
Girl Interrupted, okay.
That was the one that jumped to mind when you first asked me anyway. So that's always going to have been the top one.
Okay. I remember you recommended me this when we were first going out and I watched it. And
I'm surprised you hadn't watched it, to be honest.
I know, yeah. I think it was one of the ones I heard of, but I never properly watched, but yeah.
Is it because it was never on Blu-ray, which is still an added annoyance to my life?
Yeah, it's not on Blu-ray. But, so, tell us a bit about Girl Interrupted.
It's about this... How old is she? I can't remember. But she's a young woman and she gets admitted to a mental hospital. Because
Winona Ryder as well.
Yeah, Winona Ryder's character's been admitted to a mental hospital. And it's kind of her journey through discovering her diagnosis.
Yeah.
And just kind of travelling through it and realising that there's life outside of that. And she kind of helps like Angelina Jolie find herself. And that's a whole friendship that's quite unique.
So what was it about it that spoke to you?
I think going through some of the struggles that the characters went through at the time, obviously I'm not going to go into it, but, just finding personal connections to the film that I never thought I would. I thought I'd go in it and be like, oh, it kind of just connects with you in quite a lot of ways that you don't expect it to. So it's one of them ones that's always stuck with me. And it's just very special to me.
I think we do watch it probably like once every 6 months.
Yeah, I can't watch it.
Yeah.
Like very often.
No, it's not.
When I do, it's when I'm in a really bad mood or really sad mood and I just want to watch it.
So, is there any kind of film that you would pair it as a double bill with? Are you going to have like a double feature? A film that would complement it very nicely?
I was going to say One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but I didn't want it to be too depressing, one after the other, do you know what I mean?
Because that is kind of like
the two the same film, but male and female.
Girl Interrupted with dudes.
But like, I don't know, because I don't want to be like going out at that one being like, that was exhausting mentally, and then go into another one that's mentally exhausting.
Yeah.
So I don't really know. double bill wise, because it's a lot of.
But One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest does.
It does fit well, but it's a lot of mental training that you need to prepare for.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anything you'd suggest?
No, not with.
It's one of the films that just is fine by itself.
Yeah, it's a solo kind of film.
You don't go into another film.
It's Solo.
That. It's
a
Solo.
Star Wars
That's
story.
The sequel.
It's Solo. That's the double bill. Watch Girl Interrupted and then watch Solo, a Star Wars story right after it.
Evening than that. That's amazing.
Okay. I thought we'd be talking about like some other films longer, but like just diving in. So I'm just going to dive into your second one. What would be your second pick off the top of your head?
Thinking about it, I changed my mind last minute before we sat down. I think it's La La Land.
La La Land, yeah. We both love this.
Because
everyone.
I've always loved musicals, you know that.
Yeah.
But this film kind of ignited that passion again for me about musicals because it's not. Until then, you hadn't really had like a really good musical that kind of makes you feel that kind of way that La La Land does. But obviously, you've had Grease and stuff like that, but that was like
nothing as real as La La Land's. It feels,
So you've had to wait all that time, and this comes along, and it's like, wow, musicals are still really good.
Great.
If they're made well. I love the shit musicals, though, you know that.
Yeah.
But this is like a whole different kind of musical, and just it sets my heart off in flutters.
Is there a particular song that you like the most, or a particular scene?
Just the scene at the end when they both look at each other, when they realise it's ended quite mutually, where it's like they still have a lot of respect for each other, but some relationships do just kind of end.
Naturally grow apart,
and it's still a lot of love there.
Yeah,
I think that look they give each other is just so like
one of the best like final moments.
Both like enjoy your life. See you later. I'm here for you if you need me.
The film also includes probably one of the best comedic lines ever. There's a nicer way to say that, Karen. Oh, what is it? Is it Karen?
Karen.
Yeah.
What did she say?
She was like, welcome
back. And it's like, there's a nice way to say that, Karen. I feel like it's just like a mix of like happiness and also like bittersweet.
It is like a proper. It takes inspiration from the classical movies and that, but it does like take a more natural route to it. It has bits of comedy, drama, and everything.
Yeah, it's just so special. Like it just makes you sob but then laugh at the same time. You're like, ow. Didn't expect to come in here for this, but I got it anyway. I just find it really special.
An interesting conversation with La La Land. I can't remember who we were speaking to about this. I think it was someone at work, and it was like about Ryan Gosling's character being a white saviour of jazz, but I never saw that. I thought he's just one of them knobheads he says, born in the wrong generation.
Yeah, like it's like
because he doesn't save jazz.
No, he doesn't.
One bit, he just listens to.
You just kind of listen to it and likes it. It's like me liking pop and then being like, I'm going to save pop.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're not.
No.
Just because you like the genre doesn't mean you're going to save it.
Yeah.
It's just a weird like thing. Yeah. Like you're not saving
you're
it. You're just enhancing it in your own way.
He's preserving it in a way.
Bringing your...
Or like not even... It's like me with this podcast or whatever. I'm not saving film.
No, you're not saving...
I'm just enjoying it, really.
You're just putting your take on it, your opinions. Like him in that film, he's putting his own spin. Not as much as John Legend in the film. He took it real direction, but his character kind of just takes it and how he wants it to be.
Yeah.
And then just puts a spin on it, but he does exaggerate setting that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're both...
It's
just a really sweet film.
And then, obviously, with the conversation of La La Land, I think we left early when we were watching it, but the Oscars whole debacle.
Oh, yeah.
You're on the side of La La Land, aren't you?
Very much so, yeah. I liked Moonlight, but it just didn't, in my opinion, deserve it. And that's a big statement. Come at me if you want. Yeah. I'll be ready for you, but... I
feel like La La Land was one of them ones that, like, I would have believed it if it won. Because it's popular, and they probably had more money than Moonlight did for the PR thing, which usually helps get an Oscars. But I like that Moonlight, it felt like it won it on merit alone, above anything.
It's just a really annoying one, because, Moonlight was good, but was it Best Picture good?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I say yes.
Yeah, you
Moonlight's
would,
a masterpiece as well.
So is La La Land, though.
I know, but that's the thing, like, the film isn't a competition, really, isn't it? It's a...
Well, it is until I'm watching something that you don't like.
Yeah.
If you watch.
Just some... There's no such thing as a bad film unless that film is truth or dare.
No.
Yeah.
Don't get me started.
That's your third pick now.
It's shocking. But it's so good because of how shocking it is. Like, that's not even one of them. We'll
okay, but anyway, with La La Land, what's a double bill pick that you'd have?
I'd have High School Musical.
Ooh, I was expecting you to say The Greatest Showman.
1, 2, and 3.
Just so you're gonna have a quadruple bill.
Yeah, all right, that wasn't the answer, but that's what you get.
In the viewing order for this film night, how does it begin?
I think High School Musical 1. I think we'd do the High School Musicals first.
That's what I was thinking,
end on La La Land.
Because it almost is kind of like...
Because you wouldn't start with La La Land and go to High School Musical, it just wouldn't.
It's like if Troy... I was going to say Troy Barnes, but that's a different character entirely. That's Donald Glover in Community. Troy Bolton, that's the one. It's almost if he went to whatever art school he went to. Juilliard. That's the most famous acting school. Oh yeah. That's the thing. It's almost like his journey, like afterwards. It's kind of like it's a spiritual High School Musical 4, not what the Disney Plus series is going to be.
No. He's already got a fan base on Twitter for that, which I'm fuming about.
Are they all the TikTok people?
They're saying, like, look at this actor, and it's like this guy, and he's just talking. I'm like, you don't know actor. If you've seen it, you're 12 years old. Get a grip.
You were just watching Hotel for Dogs 2 minutes ago.
That film was amazing.
I haven't seen it. It's just...
But yeah, they definitely, because they are one that nearly made the list.
Okay, so what is it about High School Musical as well that like?
It's just one of them first films that I kind of watched, and I was like, wow, like DCOM original movies and all that, like Disney Channel and all that. It's just like they were sick, but they weren't special.
It's something that means like it takes you back to a simpler time.
But then High School Musical, I was like sick, and then seeing the third one in cinema. Oh,
was that the only one to get a cinema release because they were
magical.
Getting that big?
It was amazing, and I think after that, it just kind of again musicals like just was amazing.
Yeah.
The third one really took it up a notch. You didn't agree, but it really did.
I know. They're doing exactly what it says it is.
It's so nice.
If you want to go in enjoying that kind of movie, it does its job.
Yeah.
It does its job.
It just reminds me of like being young again and having no cares in the world.
Yeah.
Just watching these shitty Disney Channel films.
Because they are like, there's moments of unintentional comedy, like the which one's the one when he's singing on the golf course?
2.
What song is it though?
Oh, Bet on It.
Bet on It, yeah. That is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, I love it.
Trisha Paytas like parodying that. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
I love it. But yeah, it was really
great.
funny.
Yeah.
The second one's the worst one in my opinion.
Do you reckon with that one, with that amazing musical number?
It's still amazing, but it's just a bit more gimmicky than it should be.
Yeah.
But the third one's really serious and stuff.
When we were watching it, I didn't realise that's that one that was in Vines. That no.
Yeah,
I didn't realise that was from High School Musical, and I choked on my drink when she started singing.
And I was like, did you not know that? That's why I found it funny, because I knew what it was from.
No, I never knew. I just always thought it was one of them ones on Vine.
The third
that was from something. Third one's your favourite, yeah.
Yeah, it's just so magical.
Yeah. All right, and what's your third vinyl?
Third one's another double barrel. I'm going to break the rules for the first one.
There's no rules for this. We just as long as you talk about it.
It's The Conjuring 1 and 2.
Oh yeah.
That really took you by shock, that didn't it? And I feel like I chose. I think 1. I'll say 1 because I don't want to be.
No, you can pick 2. It's like a good
1 and 2.
Yeah.
They're the first kind of horror films that I kind of not connected with because that's a bit stupid, but I kind of liked.
Yeah.
You know me, I didn't like horror
you can connect.
for all of my life.
Yeah.
Kind of only recently started watching it within like the past 3 years.
Yeah.
And I think Your Next was probably the first one I watched and actually loved. But The Conjuring 1 and 2 is the one I connected with the most. I don't know why, but I just love them so much as horror films. Like, you like them, but
I do like them.
I think I could watch them every day of my life and not get bored of them.
They are like, because on paper it looks the same as every other kind of modern horror, like ghost kind of horror film, but it's classic. Done so well.
Yeah.
It's like a really good McDonald's burger or something.
That's why I don't get when the Annabelle films are so bad.
Because it's just different creative team, isn't it? It's just money.
Like you think, they're in the same like creative universe as The Conjuring, it's going to be amazing, and you watch Annabelle 1 and you're like, what the fuck am I watching?
Because it's just taken little bits of what the people find scary and just stretching out that gimmick for the entire.
So bad.
But you like them still, even though they're so bad. You still like them so much.
I'll still watch them, but I'll be like, where's the finesse?
Yeah,
just trying to do here? Other than scare me, which is great, but there's more to horror.
They're trying
than
to get your money.
which I'll give them happily, have my money. But it's not the point. Like horror films are meant to do more than jump scare me. Like I don't want to be like jumping the whole time. I want to have a feeling of like uncomfortableness.
It's kind of what like. I don't know if this was going to be a double bill pick for it or not, but not for it, but Midsommar, like that was probably what delivered for you because you didn't get that reaction from Hereditary when we saw it.
I loved Hereditary, but I didn't find it scary in the slightest.
Which was worrying to me because I was like jumping around the entire cinema.
It's worrying to me that I don't find any films scary. Like when was the last time I said to you that I was really scared?
Well, I think when we saw the house that Jack built, you either said it like. Disturbed you, or you loved how like raw it was?
No, I loved it, especially the boob scene.
That was like what I was trying to picture it to someone in work, because they like horror films. I was like, oh yeah, he's in it and he chopped someone's tit off.
Yeah, it hurt my boob thinking about it, but it was so amazing that you just. Oh,
is that your double bill pick with the Conjuring films?
Which one? House of Jack built.
House of Jack built or Midsommar?
I'd say Midsommar. Because
as a double bill.
I'm not going to pronounce it like you do because it makes me feel a bit...
I know, I feel like I write it when I say it, but I can't say it any other way. Midsommar.
So Midsommar, yeah. Because that's one of the films that really, like, slightly made me feel uncomfortable, but not as much as I'd hoped it did. Which is really annoying. Because I go into these films thinking, this one better scare me or make me feel some kind of way. But they never do. And it's really annoying.
Midsommar just made you feel a way, not in a horror way, but as a, like...
More in like
victim
a fan
of
of
past
the
relationships. Like,
yeah, that was so satisfying.
Yeah.
If I could go back in time and do that, I would go to jail for at least 9 months if I got to do that.
Do you think she is in jail? Do you think there is a Midsommar sequel?
I don't want one.
You don't want?
If they did, I'd be really pissed off. That's the kind of thing I love about that kind of film. Like, where does she go after that? Does she kind of just live there? And just...
Well, I was expecting when we were watching Midsommar, I was expecting it to. When she was like picked between these two men or whatever, I thought she was going to live with a current boyfriend until they were old, and then they were going to be the ones that jump off the cliff that like sacrifice themselves. I was kind of expecting it to go that way.
I expected her to choose what's his name, the one that took them there.
Oh, the mate, yeah.
I can't remember. I can't remember. You know which one I mean. If you've seen the film, you know which one I mean. I thought she'd choose him.
Yeah,
because he seems like the right candidate, quote unquote.
Well.
Because obviously he treated her well.
I know, yeah, but he's been planning that whole.
Yeah, but if you're going to stay there and be like the May Queen,
yeah,
then you might as well have him next to you who actually likes her, other than this other guy that's just a total prick.
Yeah,
and then he could grow old together and fall off the cliff together. I think that's really romantic. That's how I want
the most romantic movie of the year is Midsommar.
It's like a revenge romance.
It's very good.
I love it so much.
So is Midsommar your official pick as the double bill? Yeah.
So it takes it from quite a dark, grungy scene to a very happy...
How would you watch them?
I would watch The Conjuring then Midsommar, I think. And you got to start off dark and then end up thinking, oh, it's going to be a light.
Start dark and end up darker.
Nice. It's going to be nice. It's going to be a nice summer pick. And you kind of just go like, oh shit, never mind. Yeah.
And do you think before... We're going to do a podcast episode on our Oscar predictions when the nominations come out tomorrow, so... When they come out tomorrow, are you expecting Florence Pugh to get it for Midsommar or The Little Woman?
I wanted to get it as Midsommar, but I know it's not going to get recognition.
Technically, she's going to be... it will be supporting if it's Little Woman, and then lead if it's...
She could get both.
And also, speaking of horror, will Lupita Nyong'o.
Oh, she deserves
that. Kind of like came and went very quickly, though, didn't it?
You didn't really connect with it.
No, just because I was expecting a lot more after Get Out, and I did like it, but it just felt...
Wasn't Get Out level.
Wasn't Get Out level, and it just didn't have that edge, like, that I was expecting from someone who's such a horror fan like Jordan Peele.
It started off really well. Like, we were so amped for it, and then...
I really like that opening shot, or like the where it's the titles. I like the titles where it's just it's zoomed in on a bunny, and then it just
You said he does make
out.
The best, like, what's it, opening?
Yeah.
You said he makes the best.
With the video, the Hands Across America, it just looked... I wasn't expecting that kind of...
It started off really strong.
Aesthetic to it, and it
ended.
It started off well, but it's the kind of thing I always feel with like some horror films where it's like a great premise, like, and it starts great, and then it just follows a few too many rules. Yeah.
Where I feel like he's the one director that will probably break out of those rules.
I hope he does a bit more whatever he does next after us.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he's put himself too high with Get Out being the first one he ever put out, because that was just high on the.
I do think we like in general we should stop comparing
Oh,
first films to second films because
All
I know you don't like it, but The Lighthouse. I've got to talk about it in every episode. I'll try it because I love it so much.
And I will shun this podcast, and I will not let you put this on.
Because there's people who love The Witch. You've not seen The Witch yet, have you? The Witch, I reckon you might like. Women, but there's people who love The Witch weren't that much of a fan of The Lighthouse because
I think it's my beef with Willem Dafoe. I think I don't like his voice. I think that might be why.
That's like the most cinematic voice ever.
It's annoying as fuck.
And he's not going to win. I hope he does get nominated, but he probably won't. He's been nominated so much recently, but always lost to someone a bit more popular, even though I think he's always given the best performance probably.
The thing is with the Oscars, they don't go off performance, they go off popularity.
They go off whoever spends the most money.
Yeah.
They don't go off merit or anything.
Cause I love horror films so much, I don't expect them to ever win anything at the Oscars. Get Out was nominated, we were like, come on. I
was hoping Get Out would have started it, because I in our predictions that year, I put Get Out was going to be the winner, because Shape of Water and Three Billboards were too divisive, and I thought Get Out would have.
Because I put it as like to win, but we didn't put it as would
win. And Daniel Kaluuya getting Best Actor nomination, which was really surprising as well. But then, was it the following year or the year just gone where Hereditary was completely snubbed out? Everyone thought Toni Collette was going to get a nomination, and it just never happened.
I would never have expected that. If
this is kind of becoming a horror episode now.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Passionate about horror films.
Yeah, we just keep talking about horror.
The more gore, the better.
Yes, that's why the house that Jack built.
Yes. And you always say to me, it's full of gore, and I'm like, I don't want to watch it though.
Yeah,
it's kind of a middle ground.
I always use it as a pitch to try and get you to watch any kind of film. If it's gory, you'll enjoy it, but won't.
It's like The Strangers. You don't get why I like it so much.
No, I know.
Now thinking about that, should be one of my picks. Because it's one of my favourites.
So, fourth pick.
The Strangers.
The Strangers.
Should we do some honourable mentions?
Yeah, we'll do that, but I think The Strangers, because of there's a lot to talk about with it. It should have a fourth kind of slot as one of your picks, because to me, anyway, it's not that I get why you like it so much, but I don't get why you want to watch it so much.
I don't know.
Because it's got those bits there of a generic kind of slasher film, but it's so cold and nihilistic, and it feels so real that I'm sick to my stomach every time I watch it.
It's like when you say about horror films, you don't like it when something's running in the background and they make attention to it. You hate that, and I do too sometimes.
It's when they just run in the first It film, even though obviously the second one in the blue more. Every time something happened, it would go bah!
Yeah, it would have been great if it was silent, it's even more creepy. Yeah. But in The Strangers, that bit when she's stood in the kitchen, he's just stood in the background, kind of walking in, and there's no noise, and it's like.
And he's just a real person as well. He's some real guy.
That is what makes me uncomfortable. You don't have to have loud noises to make it effective.
Yeah, and it was the fact that it's based off a true story, and that we've watched so many Shane Dawson creepy videos where they talk about these.
I love it. I think that's why I like it, because it's so real.
Yeah.
But I know if it was me, I'd shit myself. I'll always say I want to be in that, I want to go to a haunted house or something. But as soon as I step in that door,
a haunted house I'd go into, because it's a load of shit.
No, but would you go into a house where it said multiple murders have happened to you?
There'd be I'd be unsettled. I wouldn't go to one of them Victorian ghost places and thinking, no.
See, me sat in now, I would love to go on that, but I know.
It'd be cool to go to, but I wouldn't be oh, a ghost is going to jump out at me, because I don't think ghosts are real.
It's just the whole uncomfortableness.
Going to see if that ranch is still there where Charlie Manson and his crew were there.
I would love that.
I know you'd love to go, but that would make me so uncomfortable.
Just thinking about what's happened there, and the amount of just things that have gone
I didn't realise as well in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I thought they had made up that location that Charlie Manson stayed at an old film studio, but then we watched Charlie Says, and then it's the same place.
I saw that and I was like, oh wait, is that real? Jeez.
It just adds a whole other layer to Once Upon a Time. But
that film was
so
great as well.
what would be, before we mention what the double bill for Strangers will be, got to talk about The Strangers Pray at Night, because
The
Strangers, I really like this one. It's more watchable.
Love it.
You love it, and I like it. It's a lot more watchable, because it, instead of trying to be something as nihilistic as the first one, it's a love letter to slasher films in the 80s and everything. The pool scene, and everyone talks about the pool scene a lot, I think, because of the music and everything. Is it? I've not seen it since we walked out of it.
What film is that? What song is it?
Is it Total Eclipse of the Heart,
Yes.
is it that one? Yeah.
Yes.
And it just works so well. But what I love the most is the end. Spoilers if you haven't seen Strangers Pray at Night. Watch it. Is it on Netflix?
It's on Netflix.
Yeah. What I loved about the end when she's crawling away from the flaming car.
You love that.
Because that's just screams like slasher iconography in that. And it was probably one of the best visual like horror films.
Yeah, because I went into it thinking, oh, it's just another sequel. It's going to be shit.
The start of it was shit because all the actors just were kind of half-arsed at it. It just wasn't.
Oh yeah,
like
sorry, that was my phone.
Like the dad was just.
He was a bit of a nonce.
But then also again another great line of comedy was when he asked, "What's a queef?" in the car.
And everyone's like, and he's like, "No, seriously, what's a queef? Why is no one telling him what a queef is? Come on, that man's gonna live. Well, not anymore, but he's gonna."
Did the girl survive in the end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She jumped in
She's the only one, isn't she?
No, the brother survived as well.
Did he?
Remember, he got out of the pool, she saved him, and she left him in a thing while she went to get help, and then that truck ran past, and she went away and come back and got him.
Okay.
And the last scene was of them in the hospital, and she heard that noise, and she...
I don't remember any of that.
Let's watch it again.
Because last time we watched it, was the second time we watched it, and there was people talking all the way through the cinema. We were in an audible argument, because we always sit at the front in the cinema.
Yeah.
The people that were talking were sat at the back, that's how loud they were, and we were shouting at them across. We complained 3 times, and then we just left.
This wasn't the one, was it?
We got to see Hereditary for free because of it, though, which was a bonus.
That was a bonus, yeah.
And that was weird as well with Hereditary, because that was a sold-out screen we went to, like, opening day. The best audience I think I've ever sat with. No one made a peep, but people didn't make noise.
But not annoying.
Both times I've seen Hereditary, that's the only time I've felt the atmosphere of the film having an effect on the audience, and that like people were.
See, I'm different in that way. I prefer it if there's no atmosphere in the room.
Really?
I want my own...
I quite like some, depending on what kind of noise they're making. I like comedies or certain horror films. I like the atmosphere of everyone.
I don't. You know me, I hate anyone.
But
so as soon as you start making any noise, I'm looking at you like, what the fuck are you doing? Shut up.
Yeah.
Oh, you know me too well. It gets me really ramped.
But yeah, Hereditary had one of the best jump scares from one of the littlest moments when...
She runs out the corner.
No, not even that. Not even the end where it all goes off the wall.
Oh, right.
Like when Toni Collette's just driving in the car and you hear... And everyone went, oh! And even I went, oh! It was just like...
See, I hate that shit. Like, just keep it to yourself. Have it in a moment. Don't interrupt my train of thought, because that's then going to take me out of it by being like...
That was like when I saw... We're going off on a tangent, but it's good to talk. When I saw This Is the End in the cinema, and like the bit where the demon and Jonah Hill...
I've not seen it. Oh,
we watched it. You remember that bit with the demon and Jonah Hill? Yeah. No, you're just trying to forget it.
Yeah.
There's people hysterically laughing, and a guy sat behind me was donkey laughing.
Oh,
like,
no. That pisses me off.
Like it echoed through the whole screen.
Oh, God.
And I didn't know what the second scene was until I saw it on Blu-ray, because I was so distracted by his laughing that I forgot what the next scene was.
No.
But yeah.
You know my pet peeve as well, or it's both of us, to be fair, when we're watching a film and the trailer's got a really significant joke in it.
Oh,
and when the trailer comes up in the film, everyone laughs so hard.
I don't know if it's because we go to the cinema that often that we see the trailers like
it's like
20
Jojo
times a
Rabbit,
week.
though. That scene where he blows up the thing in the
Everything,
trailer.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, ah!
It's everything.
But
even shit comedies, just like...
It's been in the trailer, you've seen it probably like 2 times.
Well, that's what like most people might not have seen the trailer.
Yeah, true.
But because we go to the cinema so often...
Some people do come up and say, what's on? And then go and watch it. So.
But people, like... Yeah, like, we go to the cinema so often, we see the same trailers again and again. That's why the reason I can't wait for that David Copperfield film to come out, because I feel like that's trailers on before every film, and I'm like, get rid of it. But yeah, what would be your double bill pick for Strangers, the Fair Strangers?
You're next.
You're next. Oh, yeah. Again, because that goes along the same lines as the second one, doesn't it?
Again, because I said before, You're Next is one of the first films I ever watched. Try and get in horror films. And I watched it on my laptop in my room with like one headphone in, my glasses off, so I didn't get scared.
Yeah.
And it was kind of, after that, I kind of got more and more brave watching horror films.
Yeah.
And now thinking back, I'm like, who are you back then?
Yeah.
Because now I'll watch anything without flinching, you know. Like.
You can rewatch You're Next. It's like, this isn't that hardcore,
no, it's
really.
Not.
Yeah, but it's like, it's still entertaining, but...
It's just like women.
Women, yes, women.
I love it. It's just one of them films that's proper like Again, just a regular slasher film, but it's got its own twist on it, where it's like sick. Like that shot, again, spoiler if you've not watched it, when that girl's running out and she gets like cut across the neck from that line.
Oh, when she runs out the door.
That's sick. Like, you just don't expect that, because that's never really been done properly.
Yeah.
But you just don't expect it when she's running out.
Because you kind of just expect her to run out and get chased by someone. But
or someone like with an axe, like she gets her or something.
A wire, because these are army people, I think, that are like all hunting.
They're hired to kill people.
They're hired, yeah.
It's sick.
And so now we've picked 4. You was going to say 3, but we just... It's good just to keep talking.
They all changed last minute.
Yeah. Any honourable mentions?
Yes. A Ghost Story.
Oh, yeah.
That is like...
That's a genuine masterpiece.
It is beautiful. Like, you were scared I wasn't going to like that.
Because even when we were watching it in the cinema, and I love slow-paced films so much. But that scene where it's literally 5 minutes, it's one shot, Rooney Mara eats a chocolate pie.
Oh, yeah.
A vegan chocolate pie.
Just adding that in there.
Just adding that in there. Veganuary, save the planet, climate crisis. It's just her for 5 minutes eating the vegan chocolate pie until she's sick. And Casey Affleck in a ghost sheet is sat in the background the entire time of that shot. And even I was like, all right, is this the film we're in for? And then obviously had a whole experience watching it in the cinema, and then I turned to you and you loved it as well.
I just didn't expect to like it myself.
And it is genuine. Any other standout moments for you from the film, is it?
From the film?
Yeah.
The whole thing.
There's
no pick out point, 'cause it's all just so beautifully made.
Yeah. I think one of the other one pick up, other than the pie scene, is the neighbour ghost.
That's cute. The little like floral like
when that ghost disappears, when it says, "I don't think they're coming home," and then it just drops. The sheet just drops, and it has almost again like it had almost an effect that you were looking for from horror films on you. It was haunting.
It was haunting.
But it's very much not a horror film. No. But it is. It's just about life, isn't it?
About life and loss and what you do after someone's gone. Like, you just continue
living
your life.
About history and just about things like attachment to physical.
It's like the ghost stays in that house even when the house is knocked down and built in like a
he keeps
building.
He
stays there. Yeah. Even though she's not there anymore, he has to stay there because it's his.
It's where he
is.
Where he is.
Where he is. So she carries on her life, living it day to day, and it's just really mundane film when you break it down.
Yeah.
As altogether, it's really beautiful. And it's just don't.
Any other picks?
Cats.
Yes. No. All right. Joking. I won't talk about this, but Cats need its own episode.
Do you think?
Cats needs to be seen by everyone. Okay, but any other like honourable mentions? A Star Is Born. That film really just sat with me really well. I think it was the same reasons as Guilt and Drugs, because I've been through so much of like seeing kind of like addiction and what it can do to you and like how it can affect your relationships. Growing up with that kind of has always been a part of my life. So I think when a film does it really tastefully, like it shows the harsh reality of addiction and what it can do. And I think that film, and it's like, I wouldn't class it as a musical. People say, but it's not. But it's got some really beautiful, obviously, songs in it. It's just like an independent film. It's just a beautiful story about these two people, again, going through fame and figuring their life out together, and it's just another. And it's got some absolute bops in it as well. Bop. I love the opening song, Black Eyes, and like the way it opens, it feels like an actual live show. Yeah, it's just amazing. Cause it's great. Wasn't it Glastonbury that he did that, or was that a different song? No, that looked like Glastonbury because I think everyone had flags and that. Because didn't he like surprise everyone and just do it live? He didn't surprise everyone. I'm not sure. I know he. Let's read this. He came out on stage. Bradley Cooper was like, "We're filming Star Is Born." No one heard any of the music, because they didn't want the song to leak. True. So they could hear it back close to them, but the crowd couldn't hear or anything. Right, but that's like a thing that always bugs me about music films. When they play music live, you don't always hear the crowd sing them back, which is a thing that happens at every gig. And what film did we watch? Not recently, but we've watched a film together where it actually sounds... They did do that in something. I can't remember what though. They were actually singing back. I cannot remember for and it sounded proper good. That's really going to piss me off, that. But with A Star Is Born, someone was saying to me at work, why do I think Bohemian Rhapsody is so shit? And And I was like, because it follows the same kind of narrative as every true story movie, and the benefit of A Star Is Born is that it is just fresh and new, and just it isn't reliant on the singles being the big moments of someone's career. It's more the personal moments, and I think that's where the likes of Bohemian Rhapsody failed, is because it kind of glosses over the personal moments and just
it has some good moments in that film. Like, if you didn't really know Queen that well, it's what I didn't know them that well. I didn't know the kind of story.
Well, I didn't know the story, and I was I didn't realise until I watched it, but I loved Queen back in when Guitar Hero came out and loads of Queen songs were on it. But it only took one kind of Google search to look at Queen's story, and then you think.
I did feel sorry for, obviously. I know it's not Freddie Mercury, but when he was in the film, when he was getting rid of what's his name, Paul.
Yeah.
That scene where he's in the rain telling him to F off, basically, was so powerful.
Yeah,
but again, he finally found his own voice to say, "No, you're not doing this anymore. You can get out." But
then again, when you research it in real life, that Paul was still his manager during the Live Aid concert.
But again, if you didn't know his life, but you watched that, it's still.
I feel like you have an obligation as artists to be as honest as you can, and not because they basically wrote a superhero movie out of Freddie Mercury and kind of.
Very true, yeah.
Which would be cool to see Freddie Mercury flying around and that, but I think it played it way too safe as well.
No, it did. It should have.
Which is why I'm kind of interested in Rocket Man, because I've heard that. Yeah. That's hella gay.
That's what we should have done more gay things. Like, when he goes into that club, I thought, right, they're going to actually.
It makes it almost seem like him being gay is a terrible thing, and was the reason for his the reason for his downfall. But it's a really homophobic film. Because
I thought when he went into that club, right, this is where it's going to start showing how, not how gay he was, but it just didn't.
But there's a thing as well with researching it, because I got interested in researching the real story. Apparently, he was bisexual, but was kind of, when people didn't really understand sexuality, was kind of thrusted into the gay
just
label.
You're gay or not.
Yeah, you're gay or you're not.
There's no bisexuality.
Yeah. So hopefully it'll be like a little independent film where someone else plays.
I think he did a good job of playing with him.
He did. No, everyone
playing with him. Playing him.
Playing him.
Excuse me.
He did, because I always thought, when I watched it, it's he's probably going to get an Oscar nomination. I don't think the film's that good for him to win it, but then all of a sudden...
He deserves a nomination.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Because even the film shit, he did great.
All of a sudden, it got all these... Bohemian Rhapsody just started getting all the awards. I didn't get why. And remember the first thing I said to you when we first watched it back in October? Said the editing was shocking in that film, and then it ended up winning Best Editing in the Oscars. I was baffled. You cannot write this. You cannot write this kind of tragedy. But yeah.
No, you can't.
So yeah, Star Is Born sick.
Which is very good. Another tangent.
Yeah. I think one final
one is Joker.
Joker? I thought you were going to say Mamma Mia.
It's up there, but Joker is...
Joker and Mamma Mia, double bill.
That is a double bill that you need to say. Joker killed Donna. They never tell you Mamma Mia because it's too dark to think about, so they have to spin it as with no answer. But no, Joker.
You're an evil person. Meryl Streep's character in Mamma Mia. You invited me to your hotel to make fun of me.
He just kills her because he's sick of her shit. Singing around about money and shit. He's like...
And Pierce Brosnan was offered Batman back in the day. Yeah, so it all ties in.
I should have picked Mamma Mia just to talk about that whole SOS scene with Pierce Brosnan in the first one.
Okay, so Joker.
Yes.
Yeah. What about film. Joker that you loved?
Because I don't like superhero films, you know that. Yeah. I don't like them because they're the same story but told with different characters.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman exempt, that's a whole different story.
Women.
Because women.
Because women.
Because Gal Gadot. Is it Gal Gadot?
Gal Gadot.
That's the one.
Bob Sponge.
But Joker, I went into it not expecting much, you know me, I'll just tag along sometimes. And it was just amazing.
Yeah.
It didn't really kick into gore, which I didn't like until that scene with him in the flat.
I think that works better, though.
That scene.
Where he's whacking his head.
Against the wall.
Yeah. Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss 1,000 times in the air.
Yeah.
That really just made me feel a lot inside.
That was the kind of thing as well where I didn't know I was expecting this of the Joker film, but I had always thought about when I'd watch The Dark Knight and Heath Ledger's Joker. Mm-hmm. I really just wanted to see him in these moments between when he's making these plans.
Just his life about him by himself thinking about these things.
Yeah, like, does he eat? Does he sleep? And
yeah,
he doesn't really eat. Don't see him eat. He's a skinny boy.
He's a very skinny boy. Looks after his mum really well. That's cute. Before he kills her, obviously.
Yeah,
but
his mum didn't look after him well.
No, but he did. He looked after her. Like when he come in, he
pillow on her head.
Exempt that, like I just said.
He put it on the wrong side. He was meant to put it on the back of her head.
Whoops, sorry, mum.
Whoops.
And a long day. I guess you won't know about that now. But it's one of them films that's like you say, very in between moments. Like superhero films to me is action after more action.
It's the same.
And that is just
kind of thing.
You can see his journey
it's the polar
to go
opposite
in
of
proper.
it, because like when you see like superhero films as the hero's journey of them rising to the height of their power, where it's him descending into this madness.
Into his mental health. And it's like, he's obviously at a really bad mental health, but it shows him just deteriorating enough to crack.
Yeah.
You see the point where he cracks, and it's like really special that they actually shown that vulnerability in him.
Yeah.
Because I feel like as the Joker, you just see him as this kind of like evil maniac, but this, like, I'm not excusing mental health as like kill people.
Yeah.
But sometimes it does go to that.
It does, like,
if you've been treated bad, obviously it does sometimes you snap in that kind of way.
Yeah.
And it's really just...
It does raise an interesting point in conversation, which I'm not smart enough to like properly go in depth to, but like how it says with the cutting of like mental health facilities and that, and like how he loses medication.
Yeah.
There's a smart conversation to be had by someone else.
It's one of the things that's too much.
It's not the film that people expected it to be.
No, I didn't expect it, and I'm really
like
glad
I said, this was going to be called the School Shooter
it was,
podcast. But it's not. It's not the... No. What was that word people were using for it?
No.
Oh.
Is it a one word?
Yeah, it's one word. What people would describe as school shooters.
Oh, I thought you meant Joker.
No. Incel. Incel's the word.
Incel?
Incel.
What the fuck?
That's the word for them people that are like...
school shooters.
School shooters, basically, yeah.
I did not expect you to say that word.
That was the word.
Incel.
But yeah, it's not the incel manifesto that people think. It's like people think the Joker is.
Yeah.
It's not really.
It is a really special storytelling way of showing the Joker. Like, did you see recently online that guy you listened to on YouTube?
Kevin Smith.
Yeah. He said something about the ending of Joker. It had an alternative ending where the Joker killed Batman.
He killed Bruce Wayne as a little kid, yeah.
That should have been the ending. Like, it's like a kind of like, Batman shit.
Well, like, yeah, that was like an interesting thing. Like, I liked what Kevin Smith said about how it would have been a great, like, saying, there's no Batman in this world, there's just Joker.
Yeah.
That would have been pretty cool, but me, as a big fan of the whole Batman, world, I'm more interested in what that world is going to become, like, with that kind of Joker in it, where... He starts off as the name, like it's Batman first, and then everyone else follows. That's what I know. But it's interesting to see that Joker first, and then Batman follows.
Yeah, because like I said too, when we watched Joker, how old is Joker if Batman's like 10 there?
Well, usually, like roughly, Batman usually starts about like 25, 27, like late 20s. There's a thing I noticed, I saw a post about the last scene in the mental asylum, which is a scene I loved anyway, because that's Joker to me, like him just breaking out all the time, but he's got greyer hair,
right,
and he looks a bit older, and that obviously the whole thing of you saying him shooting Bruce Wayne as a kid, that's what people were saying, what he was laughing at. To me, because he's older, him laughing is there's this guy dressed as a bat now fighting crime, and that's his reason to break out. Like, I like that he would have been lying dormant in a mental facility for years.
If he had killed him.
What?
It's like, if he had killed Batman, where would Joker be at that point? Like, would he continue to break out and cause shit?
Oh no, but this is what I'm saying. Like, if there wasn't a Batman until Batman is age appropriate, so it's down the line.
Right.
I see it as this scene. And that he's laughing because he's just been lying dormant after that night.
Right, yeah.
And then, like, this guy dressed as a bat has made him come out with, made him break out with.
Alright, yeah, I get that. Yeah.
But, like, Kevin Smith also said a thing, because everyone says this, the Joker should have finished on that shot of him on the police car and all the people.
Definitely.
but because they're going for awards, they've got to end on that. It's that one of him, that scene which I do really like him, and he's singing Frank Sinatra. Yeah,
I like that scene. But like some films should just end when they need to end, but obviously for reasons.
I still think it for me anyway, regardless of awards, that final scene, what it is anyway, just works so well.
It does work. 'Cause he's kind of just like, catch me on the gingerbread man kind of thing. You know. That's what Joker would go as Halloween, is the gingerbread man.
Funny that. It's the giant one from Shrek 2.
Yes.
But I like as well how Joker has made you want to watch more Joaquin Phoenix films.
I love him so much.
I've been suggesting so many over the years. Like Hair, you loved.
Yeah.
And Walk the Line as well, which you really did.
He was so sweet in Walk the Line, even though obviously it gets a bit
Again,
weird,
it's the same kind of thing. It's a similar sort of story as Star Wars Born. But
you get the story I'm kind of into. The whole, like, addiction.
We still need to watch Inherent Vice now as well. That's another one.
Okay.
Phantom Thread as well. You should mention Phantom Thread.
Phantom Thread for its meme quantity. It's a meme film.
But you do love it. You hated it when we first watched it.
Because I was tired as fuck.
Yeah.
And it was pretentious and disgusting and I hated every second of it.
Beautiful.
But then when I saw the memes, I was like, let me give this a chance. And it's just, he is me. Don't you think he is me?
Both annoyed. You both get irritated quite a lot, yeah.
It's like
and you're both very picky on your foods, and
you just get so annoyed by everything. I'm like, same, bro.
What's that line? The tea is leaving, but the interruption is staying with me.
Yeah, it's just like he gets me, and I get him. It's a mutual thing, and I think we get on very well.
Oh,
but yeah.
So, as we draw to a conclusion, are there any films in 2020 that you're really looking forward to?
I'm really looking forward to Harley Quinn's film.
Yeah, same actually.
That looks sick. I feel like, again, it's another superhero film that's actually going to be...
Again, women.
Again, women for everything, please and thank you.
Yeah.
And there's another one I was thinking about, but I can't remember what it fucking was now.
Wonder Woman again.
Wonder Woman, yes.
Wonder Woman 84.
Oof, jeez, it's going to be a year full of women.
A year full of women.
And it's going to be fantabulous.
So what other film in 2020 you third and final?
Controversial choice, but The Conjuring 3.
It's a risky one, this one, because it's James Wan not returning.
I know, but it's got my bays in it, though.
Yeah.
Vera and Patrick.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
But then again, they were in the last one. What the fuck?
Annabelle.
They were in that. And
Annabelle is home. Annabelle's here.
Comes home.
Annabelle comes to dinner.
Annabelle comes to tea.
Okay, yeah. That's the title.
But they were good in it.
That's canon.
But they were in and out quite fast, so.
Yeah. It was kind of like them. I keep going off on a tangent, but do you remember them Pokemon movies as a kid?
No.
Oh, if anyone's listening remembers them Pokemon movies as a kid when Ash and the other ones were in it, but they were only because it was from the Pokemon's perspective. Ash's legs, it would just be that. They wouldn't be fully in frame; they'd be like out of frame. That's what Annabelle Comes to Tea felt like. Comes to
tea.
Yeah.
Just imagine sitting at a table eating and being like, "This is shit."
Damn.
But yeah, I'm excited for that because I'm hoping that it's going to be good. That's the only film that I'm kind of like... Every other film I go into is like, oh, it's going to be shit anyway. But this one I'm kind of hoping it's got some kind of finesse.
It's not called The Conjuring 3.
No, it's not.
I don't know why they decided. Maybe it is James Wan trying to distance himself. Like, this is a Conjuring spin-off. If James Wan returns for another one, it's going to be called The Conjuring 3.
Yeah. But the devil made me do it.
The devil made me do it. It's about the first ever time demonic possession was used in an actual court case.
I think it's going to be top notch. But again, it depends.
Risky. All right. This podcast, with all them tangents, I hope you enjoyed us talking about film.
I'm stressed.
If anyone else would like to come on that knows me and think you'd have a good time and wants to talk about, and even if you don't, I mean, no. Just get in contact. Would love to hear you talk about films. Be sure to follow Scouse Film Podcast on Instagram, and this is going to be on YouTube only for now. Be sure to like and subscribe.
Ooh.
And see you next time.